That's right. It's another late night, which means, of course, it's time for another reach into the Just Giglet grab bag. And tonight we're pulling out. Oh boy, excuse me, folks. Gotta go for a big old reach on this one. Let me grab. Here we go. Let me. Sorry, dusting. Oh, it comes with a scroll. What do you know? A little medieval scroll. Let me see what it says. Damsel, a medieval comedy.
On second thought, let's not go to Camelot. It is a silly place. Oh, how you doing, Dragon? It's this was kind of a surprise that we were even going to do a grab bag this week. And even more of a surprise, this is a couple years old, Dragon. So I gotta know what prompted you to do this. Did Joshua Thomas send this your way? Did you discover it on your own? Like, how did you come upon this fine piece of comedy goodness that we're about to talk
Well, the patron saint of Thomas kind of dropped this in our
about?
lap on kind of the eve week of Easter, if you will.
Nice. Oh God.
So so yes, we just kind of came our way through that, and I did a little bit of a watched it, and I kind of I figured we might as well do it because there is some of course. So folks, a little background on this briefly is that so this is the baby of good old Scott Langford. Now Scott Langford, I know you're probably thinking, what do I know that name from? Well, I'm gonna tell you, Scott Langford. Very much one of the San Antonio alumni pals of Joshua Thomas from the olden days, from the days of old. I'm sure in the early JGI videos, I'm sure he had he had like a hand in things as well, like in kind of a behind the scenes kind of production aspect. At the very least, in the early days, there's a chance that might not be true, but all like anything that's come from the San Antonio archives, I'm sure Scott Langford's name is going to be on because he did one of Joshua Thomas's first things with him. He did I believe it's Mudslingers, if I'm remembering correctly. You remember Mudslingers at all?
No, I don't actually.
One of these days, if I can get, assuming I get my hands on the full thing, which I think we might be able to assuming it's what I think it is when I look for it, we might get to that at some point. Anyway, so one of the early things in the Joshua Thomas archive. Anyway, so he did that, but most notably, he worked behind the scenes on Watching You. You know, the hit pilot slash series.
Yep.
Yes, so of course, friend of Joshua Thomas and essentially Langford here in 2016, he did, he did a Kickstarter and got the fundage for this, which I want to say got completed and kind of put out there in 2018. And I want to say now, the reason Joshua Thomas is kind of sending this everyone's way is I want to say it's being entered in a film festival of some sort.
Oh, okay.
I tried to look into that. I couldn't get very far. All I'm saying is that when you clicked on the video, folks, if you click on the video, at least at the moment of time of recording this, it says something along the lines of like
Official
what is it like?
screener.
Official screener. So
Yeah.
screener implies film festival, right?
But it also that does imply film festival or awards.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Awards as well, but of course I'm thinking Oscar. Someone tells me this. I don't think the Oscars.
It's not. I don't get me wrong. If this popped up, then
I'd be delighted if it did. I really would, but I'm just saying the Academy does not look kindly on poo jokes. I'm sorry.
Like for the first time in a long time, I would actually care about the best short film Oscar and not animated.
Yeah, for a change, absolutely. I mean, I'd love it if it popped up. When I hear screen, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like Emmys or or Oscars,
Yeah.
but I'm assuming it's a film festival or award circuit of some kind.
If I were to take a wild stab at it, Dragon, like a wild, probably semi-uneducated guess, I'd assume it was some sort of video awards, like like web series, like web comedy awards. Either
That's
that
right.
or, like you said, like a digital festival or something. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe Joshua Thomas or someone could clear the air on that in the comments if they're watching. But
of course. I mean, this had a really massive special thanks section, of course, usually kind of attributed to a Kickstarter. Let's see. So Langford, he wrote, directed, and edited this, but he co-wrote it with Brian Ortiz. Now I'm not sure about Ortiz is kind of a different name to me. I don't know if he was maybe involved in some of the Watching You stuff, or he's just someone that Langford kind of worked with for this exclusively. So I'm not sure, but I think the results speak for themselves. And the big reason we're doing this, by the way, outside of Langford of all, because Langford's there, but the real reason we're doing this, Tyler Keys, otherwise known as
he's the standout. He's definitely the standout.
good old the scene-stealing Xerxes from from Watching You, and of course, he got revitalized in that little, the best acting class video, which is kind of like kind of
Mhm.
the spin-off, kind of the mini spin-off of Watching You. So, of course, the great Tyler Keys is in this, and my God,
I feel like
does the man
Xerxes is the
deliver?
closest thing that the Just Giglet sketch series has to a reoccurring character.
I mean, pretty much. I want to live in the alternate reality where that recurring character is Ken Armand. I really
Well,
do.
yes, Dragon, we all do. Yes, we can't. They can't all be Ken Armand,
But
Dragon.
that would be the perfect crossover for those two characters. It
Oh,
would
it
be
would
that,
be. It would
Ken
be.
Armand, I don't want to spoil it for folks, but Ken Armand would be in the market for a director for something,
Oh God.
and
Oh
who would be
God.
the perfect who would be the perfect director?
All right. Okay.
Be
Anyways, Dragon.
Xerxes. All right.
So another thing I we'd be remiss if we didn't mention is that I feel like just as kind of like a thesis statement for what I feel like this is kind of like basically like a corny like slap on the poster header. Um, it's Shrek meets Gallivant! Exclamation point.
That is not inaccurate at all.
Because you got the Shrek with kind of like turning the damsel in distress rolls on their head, and you got the Gallivant obviously with kind of the knight in shining armor and the King
And a
Arthur
squire.
thing and the squire. Yeah, yeah. So Dragon, that's kind of what I kept thinking was like, this feels so much like kind of like the characters of Gallivant in like a Shrek Act 2 situation.
Can you believe it's been 6 years since we've talked about Gallivant? Well,
Oh man.
I should say 5 years because he had the second season, but I'm saying it's
Yeah,
been a long time since Gallivant started.
that show needs to be on Disney
Yep,
Plus. All right. Anyways, so
that it does.
do you have any other background on this, or should we just dive right into it?
No, just the premise, of course, just being this a subversion of the classic, a knight, knight rescuing the damsel story. That's pretty much the whole ball of wax. So all that said, let's just dive into this rather unique puppy.
All right. So we start things off in a creepy cave dragon. I will admit, if I have one nitpick on it, I feel like this opening sequence feels a little bit out of place, just because there's some fantasy elements that don't really happen in the rest of the short. But I guess it's kind of like a little bit of a tonal like misdirect, kind of like starting in this super serious way where we kind of have this zoom out of this villain as we have some flashes of the main hero fighting his way to him.
I'm kind of with you there. Only here's the thing. So I like the subversion of. So I like that we're starting mid rescue and we have like the ominous tone and everything. The wizard. Like I'll take the wizard with the black eyes. Just think, okay, so there's a wizard. But here's the thing. If you really think about it, it didn't need to be a wizard. It could have just been like a dastardly like.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Like could have been like a dastardly king from another kingdom or something. And that's the thing. So it's
yeah.
I mean, I'll take the wizard eyes, but here's what I don't need. I don't need she's been knocked out due to an enchantment. I don't need that. She's just, maybe she got knocked out or she fainted or something. I don't know. I don't need the enchantment thing. That's where, but I mean, I'll take it though. It's fine because again, it plays in the whole the mysticism. Obviously we're working on a budget here and want to get as much medieval kind of fantasy flair as we can. So we got in the opening. So it's not a deal breaker, but it's about I hear you. So great dungeon setup here, practical sets.
It is. It is.
Yeah, so let's see. I love how so the wizard. He's I guess he's kind of like bearing witness to a lot of this here. I like the brief glimpse we have because I'm sure this is like something to spare the actor the pain here, where like the knight's in the full on suit of armor, so we see him at the top
It's
of the suit of armor.
man.
It is. It looks great. So the production, seriously, the production values of this thing are quite good. Everything, the costumes and the sets and the landscape, as it were.
I mean,
really well
I would say it's probably like a skosh below Gallivant in terms of production.
I mean, yeah, just considering kind of the Kickstarter role, this turned out tremendously well. I mean, again, it's using kind of seemingly the natural landscapes here. I mean, it's using like kind of this locations. It looks great. So, all right, let's see. So we only have this almost Iron Man level of buildup as like the knight is making like you go check it out as we through like the darkness of like kind of the cavernous dungeon, we have the knight about to enter in a suit of metal armor. I'm imagining it might have been an Iron Man pull, like when Tony Stark's making his way through the
Very well
terrorists.
could have been, yeah.
I mean, knight in armor saving the day, guy in armor saving. I don't know. Anyway, so point being, Um, heck of an entrance as the knight enters, impales the guy, and just emerges from shadow. That's an entrance, buddy boy. Now there's an entrance.
Mm-hmm.
We have like some green magical blasts, of the wizard
Like I
versus the
said, Dragon,
knight.
the green magical blasts are the thing that I was kind of hung up on. I don't know why.
Sure, but again the point being, I love the misdirect of we have like it's great. Honestly, I'm sold on the action up front, even though the whole thing is like a misdirect. This isn't going to be action packed at all.
Right.
It was good. It was well directed action. I gotta give
Yeah,
points to
yeah,
that though. But again, I
totally,
just love it
totally.
adding to the misdirect there. So then we get some money shots of the landscape. We have some credits going on. The knight
It's
is returning.
legitimately good landscape shots, man.
Yeah, yeah. Again, seriously, like not like those Zack Snyder landscape shots where we're just lingering. Like, okay, look, Bruce Wayne's climbing a mountain. He's still climbing a mountain, and there's a village. We're just not drawing it out. Playing music. In this case, you know what? We're actually moving forward, and like kind of enjoying our way getting there. Anyway. So the point being, the knight is returning on horseback with the knocked out damsel, and he is greeted by his jolly squire Philip,
Oh God! All right,
played by
yeah.
the wonderful
So
Tyler Key. So it just has this great voice, great performance. I love the voice that he just applied to this Philip character. It's so great.
this guy is a freaking great character, and what I love about him is how he starts like so happy-go-lucky and optimistic, and then just like slowly turns more and more bitter and almost like almost sinister by the end.
Oh yeah, is she dead?
Oh. All right.
She looks kind of dead on the horse. Like, is she dead? And it's like, oh no, merely an enchantment. An enchantment. She merely sleeps. Oh. Then we have the duo. These two are such a great comedy duo, by the way. Sir Timothy here and Philip here. Such a great pair. Of course,
I
Tyler
wonder if
Keyes and
Philip is a reference to Prince Philip.
I'd like to think so.
Just because I know most of the JGI crew are in some level Disney fans.
I mean, it's not like they did like a whole thing about Disney princes.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
it's not like the deal there. Now,
and
to
honestly,
be fair,
Prince Philip is probably one of the more memorable Disney princess names.
Right.
All right. Anyway, sorry.
But yeah, seriously, Tyler Keyes and Wesley Blake, they have great rapport. I think they have great chemistry. Seriously, Wesley Blake really
the keys,
impressed me.
Man. The keys. Give me the keys.
I love that. That's great, Tiki. Seriously, that's.
Are you I can't tell if you're being serious or not.
Well, I'll let you decide. Anyway.
All right. Fair enough.
Anyway, so the duo look at her and figure. Sorry. Okay. So the duo are looking at her and they're figuring out what next. Like, okay, well, I mean, it's been like 3 days. Are you sure she's not dead? Just love the mundanity of course, the kind of the Shrek sort of aspect you're referring to, Dig. I just love this mundanity of like, well, what happens after the traditional happy ending? Usually the story ends here. You rescued the girl and she's awake, but well, I mean, we rescued her. She's not awake.
Like I said, this kind of like takes the premise of Act 2 of Shrek and kind of like ramps it up to 11.
Yeah.
Where it's like with Act 2 and Shrek, it's kind of like, oh crap, like these two really. It's kind of like the classic, like, oh, they're opposites, but they're gonna, they don't like each other at first, but they're gonna be a cute couple by the end.
We don't quite go that route.
So it's more like, okay, no, like this is like these are like the two least compatible people ever.
But speaking of the compatible element of the sketch, though, the Knight and the Squire, I love that the Knight and the Squire are. I think the key to all of this and how it works so well, Tiki, is that they're in character versus the untraditional princess. They're so that there's an authenticity that they breathe life into this short. Again, they feel like an actual knight and squire put in this ridiculous comedic situation, and I think that adds to it. All right, so again, the reverse Shrek in a way, if you will. So,
it is very much a reverse Shrek. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so of course after the whole, like, you sure she's asleep? It's been a 3-day ride to camp, and the wizards, and this is hilarious. This is kind of bantery conversation. Well, the wizard said a few days. Wait, you slaughtered his guards, and you had a casual conversation with the wizard? So seriously, I love Sir Timothy, man. Again, Wesley Blake, I found was one of the most impressive. I don't know, obviously Keys. How can you do any better? But seriously,
Uh-huh.
Blake is understatedly great in this
He
sketch.
is.
Again,
He
he's
is.
bright. He's bringing all the authenticity where Keys is bringing the comedy firepower.
He very much just kind of has like an old school kind of like gentlemanly quality to
Well,
it.
let me tell you the biggest comparison I have for these two.
Oh God.
Okay,
Okay.
and this things I wonder. I know you haven't watched a lot of the show, but I wonder if you got any of this. The dynamic feels identical, and honestly, look wise, especially with Wesley Blake, from the nanny, Maxwell Sheffield and Niles the butler. So it's a lot like Charles Shaughnessy and Daniel.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. You're right. I haven't watched a ton of that show. Honestly, I watched that show more as a kid than I have now. But
I love when it comes on reruns. It's such a
yeah, I can
great
see it.
show.
I can see it.
Anyway, I'm just saying they have a bit of that dynamic, and also Blake here. He's got like a lot of. He's got like it's kind of like Maxwell Sheffield meets Carrie Elways in a sense. There's a lot of Princess Bride in this night, and I like it.
Uh huh.
Okay, so lens of the credibility there. All right, so Damsel wakes up.
Yes. Almost kind of like a not a jump scare, but it's kind of a jump scare for them.
Tiki, what is her first Susie Essman from Curb Your Enthusiasm esque line that
Oh,
she
don't
comes
ask
to?
me for lines, Dragon. Don't ask me for lines. I don't have
Well,
lines. I'm sorry.
Fine. Who the f are you?
Okay. Thank you.
Who the f are you? And of course, introduce himself, Sir Timothy Hardone, which
Oh God.
she then just kind of like just
I
streamlines away.
I do have like I think the joke in itself is funny, but I think maybe they dwell on it a little bit too long. But whatever. That's a minor nitpick.
I mean, that's the thing. Obviously, this sketch has some taste issue stuff, but again, I just
Uh-huh.
objectively, I can't really fault where the comedy's coming from and how it is landing. Maybe not for everyone, but it's landing. I think.
Sure.
All right, so let's see. So basically, this sets the irreverent and crass comedy of the damsel right off the bat. So I believe Casey Lacombe, if I'm pronouncing your last name right there. So Casey Lacombe plays the princess, and again, she does kind of very. I think Susie. It's like what if Susie Essman were like Fiona from Shrek? That's kind of what it is. Like what if you just took this foul mouth but more vulgar, like a more vulgar Susie Essman. All right, so let's see. So we make the introductions here, and Philip very squarely gives the introduction of his knight companion here, which is like his father's. He's loyal to your. He's very loyal to your father. He's a knight from the Hilton tribe of Westshire.
Mm-hmm. And so right off the bat, we're kind of like veering into the whole like, oh, just because you rescued me doesn't make me your property kind of thing, which is a very relevant issue to tackle. And I like that we address it, but it's not like kind of like the whole point of the thing by any means.
Yeah.
But if anything, the whole point of this thing is that the princess that doesn't really deserve to be rescued, which is kind of a fun subversion.
And again, there's a built-in great thing too, where again you just had a casual conversation with him, like because the idea being the wizard did not put up much of a fight. I wonder why.
Right, exactly.
Being the really clever gag, especially if you go back to like, oh, that's why. Okay, I got you. And of course, we have some fun banter too with Philip here, like the whole what's with the gross accent? I'm from the meadows of Morningshire.
I love how Philip, the knight initially, like he's trying to actually take it seriously. He's trying to be the gentleman, but Philip, no, he's not having any of it. He's not having any of this shit like right away.
Yeah, and again, he made the attempt early on, but then it's waning on him more, and it's waning on our squire before it really hits our knight. And we're kind of building to the knights are built in to be as chivalrous as all get out when done right. So
exactly.
Building, we start off with night before Christmas level of a knight here.
I'm glad you bring up Night Before Christmas, Dragon. That was the other thing that this kind of vaguely reminded me of.
And for the kids, no, we're not talking about Jack Skellington. We're talking about the Netflix movie where it's a night, but Night Before Christmas with a K.
Dragon, I still think if and when they make a sequel to that, I'm going to be legitimately stoked. Legitimately stoked.
I don't think it's in the cards, but it'd be great.
Oh, I don't know. I think it might be in the cards. Netflix will make a sequel to a lot of trash that's worse than The Night Before Christmas.
That's true. We have like that. What is it? That Christmas
The
Prince thing.
kissing
Like how many?
booth.
Well,
Oh,
that like how many?
there's like three Princess Switch movies, I'm pretty sure, and that's
What I'm
also
saying is like
Vanessa
there's like
Hudgens.
it's like
And
Princess Switch
and
and
it's Vanessa Hudgens playing various versions of herself. You know that's the premise of Princess Switch, right?
well, no, I didn't know that. All I know is that there's kind of like
Yes.
she's in like three different princess or royal like related things, including Night Before Christmas. Like she's like in three Netflix holiday.
No. But in the Princess Switch, so basically I haven't seen the Princess Switch, but in
Well,
the
this
first one,
qualifies you for sure.
I know, right? But in the first one, I think it's pretty. It's like they're twin sisters, and then in the second one, Dragon, and this kind of like makes me interested in the whole franchise, honestly, to a certain extent. In the second one, Vanessa Hudgens also plays a third twin, and she's the evil twin. Ooh. Anyways,
Stakes.
all right.
All right. Anyway, so like no offense, sounds very peasanty. So again, like basically we have like a kind of a real, kind of like somewhat of a real valley girl as a damsel sort of thing here, right?
Oh, totally.
All right. Well, it's accurate, but also hurtful. So again, so we're starting to kick around poor Philip here. So anyway, so like, why didn't Daddy send any of the good knights? Well, they tried, but they're all dead. So you're stuck with. So I'm stuck with hard on and F boy.
Oh God. He called me fuck boy, or she called me fuck boy.
Oh, poor Philip. Anyway, so yes, yeah, he like, hey, my guy here. He's fought in 6 tours for your father. He's the finest swordsman in the kingdom. And yeah, so not so subtly, she's saying like not so subtly. He's polishing the knight's sword here, so to speak, which is
Uh-huh.
really mean the way she puts it. Polishing each other off there. I take pride in my polishing.
Oh God.
Anyway,
She
so Sir
retreats into the tent until a certain perfection is brought up.
yeah, so Sir Tim's trying to assure her, like, they're still they're top shelf knights, knight and squire duo here, and his squire. The squire comes from a long line of essentially of whiskey makers, some of the top whiskey makers in the land. So now her interest is piqued.
It's
The
like basically
man's
like Jack Sparrow with levels of like, did somebody say rum?
Yep. So demands like a jug of the finest whiskey.
The finest juice,
Pronto.
Dragon. The finest juice.
You're right. You're right. The finest juice,
I
which
love
is
how that's worded. Give me your juice.
of course, just basically say like, well, we only have one. I figured we'd save it for the last day of our trip to celebrate. Which again, that's a cute idea. And then of course, little princess here, little Princess Schlockert here. She's not so patient. Like juice. Wants it pronto. All right. And of course, like, oh, she's a kitchen wench from the depths of Lucifer's oven. Some great
So
dialogue.
then we just hard cut to her just chugging. Dragon, it looks like more than beer. It looks like a hard alcohol.
Well, that's the thing. It's supposed. I mean, they said whiskey, so I'm assuming it's that. But
Oh,
it's.
they
I
said
mean,
it's whiskey. Okay, I'm sorry. I
well, I'm
missed
just
that.
saying they said. I'll admit, I'm making the leap that is
Oh,
whiskey
it looks
based on
like whiskey. It looks like
like
whiskey.
his family are whiskey makers. I'm assuming the juice is whiskey, but that's a
Sure.
guess. I mean, it's either that or moonshine, but I'm saying I think whiskey, just given what's said. Anyway, yeah.
All right, so
Drinking a
Dragon,
lot.
here comes a joke that I could do without.
All right. Okay, so basically, after she's getting schlockered with like this giant jug of whiskey, they warn her it's really strong. She stumbles. The princess falls down, and she goes the full low hand to keep it delicate.
Yeah, this is really awkward cringe humor right here. I thought.
Yeah, well, that's the point, though. It's an uncomfortable situation for a
I
very
know it's
honest,
the
very
point, but
chivalrous duo.
I don't know. Like I feel like the chivalry stuff is kind of funny, but I just felt like it was more uncomfortable. But
Yes,
it's my least favorite scene in the thing. But it's like I said, it's still not. It doesn't kill the piece by any means.
essentially, the gentlemen get a glimpse. They avert their eyes hilariously. Like the jaws, of course, Phil gets a bit of a wider look. It's like the jaws of Satan come to life.
Oh dear, oh dear. I don't know. You see, that's a little too graphic.
Like, I know, it cracks me up. Those don't look, sweet Philip.
Oh God.
So I like that we're kind of playing on the bromance aspect a little bit. That's kind of funny. But no, you're right. I could do without it too. But
Yeah.
what it is. Anyway, so the point being, so the princess, she's got no decorum, drunk, rude as all get out. And here's the interesting thing: so after a scene like that, we do have like a touch of pathos, and I love that it's kind of the mislead of like, you know what? Maybe we are going the traditional Shrek direction, albeit a little vulgar, getting there, but we're going there with this whole
face.
Sure. So basically she's mocking our poor prude of a knight and squire here, and then basically we use this to transition to kind of the nasty laws of medieval times, as in, hey, you save the princess by law, you marry her.
Not the law that people have to eat with their hands at medieval times restaurants, which is a true story.
Wait, what? Really?
Not that nasty law. Yes, that's true.
Huh.
Like I'm pretty sure if you request utensils, they'll give them to you, but like by tradition, you eat with your hands.
I gotta admit, the hands thing, I mean, now verboten, but I mean then.
Oh yeah.
But then maybe not, depending on the food, not a deal breaker. I mean,
I'm pretty sure it was like the food's mostly like fried chicken, so it's not really.
What I'm saying, so it's like fried chicken, or like I don't know, like a giant like Lego lamb or something like that.
Right. Like, yeah.
If it's medieval food, which traditionally does not have utensils, that's not the end of the world, really.
All right.
I mean, if they have soup, then obviously you're going to need utensils. Otherwise,
I'm sure they're not having you eat soup with your hands.
Exactly. So it's like a lawsuit waiting to happen. Oh, all right. You said it was hot.
All right, believe me, Dragon. Believe me. I could talk about medieval times for 2 hours as much as you could talk about Captain America for 2 hours. Believe me, I could. But let's get back on track.
Okay, but circling back before you distract us with the medieval times. I do like we had an element, we had a stab at pathos here though, which is a really good moment where the princess is feeling a little bit down about the whole that's how it works, right? You have to marry her whether I like it or not because that's the rules. And I just love that we have Tim here just saying I was just trying to serve my kingdom, which is that great humanity of the scene where, I mean, I didn't really sign on for that. I definitely don't want to marry you after all this, but, it's like I was just, trying to be a good knight, man. That's what that's it. Just trying to do the right thing. But how can you not feel for the guy? Anyway, so then she turns it weird again.
God.
Again, basically, you got. I'll phrase it delicately. You guys polish each other's armor, and as I do the same in my tent. Don't put out the fire. Anyway, so okay, so let's see. So next morning.
Yes, next morning. Let's see what's going on.
Well, I'm sorry. At night, though, we have this great thing with Philip's freaking out. Like, she's a GD demon, and there's both panicking. Like, this is very much Niles and Sheffield from The Nanny. This dawned on me. Like, oh my god, it's like when they would panic in those scenes about what's going on with the nanny.
Okay, so at this point, Philip is just completely just like he's just not having any of this shit at this point, Dragon. He's not hiding it.
Yeah, of course, our Knights is trying to he's in denial, he's trying to spin it like shit. I mean, look, she's been to hell and back. I mean, clearly, she should be out of sorts like anybody. And she's got quite a mouth on her, something along those lines. She's quite an unusual princess, isn't she? So she called me F-boy, as you said. So then it's the next morning. So now we're on horseback again. Mind you, the princess has ingested over like a quart and a half of wine.
Oh God,
Tiki, I'm not a. I'm not a drinker. I'm going to assume that is way too much.
Do you know how many pints are in a quart?
Offhand, a lot, right?
Okay, let me turn to Google. Because that's usually what I drink when I drink is pint. How many pints are in a quart?
I mean, at least two, right? It have to be
two. Okay, yeah, that's. I mean, look, Dragon. I've been there. It's not like a fatal amount of alcohol, but yeah, it's not pretty. It's not pretty.
Okay, but let me ask you this: what about with it being whiskey? Isn't whiskey rather strong?
Oh, I hate whiskey. I can't stand whiskey. Yeah.
So again, if you just take there's what you usually do, but let's say that's but if it were whiskey,
what I usually do is vodka and 7-Up.
Anyway. So yeah, but the point being, like, whiskey in any event, but whiskey to that extent, it ain't
Uh,
going to be pretty, which we see. Unfortunately, that is really so. The princess is on horseback, which is already a bad idea with a hangover, a
oh
belly
God.
full of a quart and a half of wine, says Philip. And basically, this is a nice bit, though. I like we're trying. Again, this feeds into the whole. Maybe there's a chance. Maybe there's a chance where there's the whole. Oh, tells Concord is the horse from the West Shore, and basically talking about the beaches,
Uh,
where the princess takes a stab at conversing with the knight, her potential future husband. Here, so we get a little bit of Timothy's backstory. I thought this was nicer. Like, it comes from a humble family of farmers. Cabbage and turnips mostly.
yeah,
Good
yeah.
people. There's basically they're poor. Well, what they lack in money, they make up for threefold love, which is really sweet, man. That's a nice line. But princess
Oh God.
does not buy into the sentimentality of, hey, I thought I was the princess here. A little touchy feely for a night, eh? And then that's where Philip's like, okay, that's it, man. Pump the brakes on this horse. That's it. This is my moment.
Like
Okay.
I said, I love how Philip just has this arc, man. He's got this arc of like, I'm not going to take it anymore.
Like, she just took that really sweet Princess Bride moment, and now she just like stomped it into the ground,
Right,
like Debbie
right.
Reynolds, and I won't stand for
Oh
it.
God.
It's like pushing Debbie Reynolds in the mud. I won't stand for it.
Uh,
So, anyways, I think that's where he begins to go off on it. And again, just to show you, I love what Keyes is bringing to this. Where again, the moment our squire shows a moment of humanity towards this princess, as you're starting to hear that ominous gurgle. You're hearing it as he's chewing her out. And he's like, "Are you okay?" And of course, the moment he genuinely says, "Are you okay?" Projectile vomit right all over
oh boy. Oh
all
boy.
over the poor squire. I love the real prissy line from the knight. My boots.
My boots.
Okay, so then she falls flat off the horse, very deservedly so. Oh no, are you okay? All right, so let's see. Then we get to we go to the Babbling Brook to talk over our options here as they all get cleaned up. So Philip's pleading to Sir Timothy here, like, come on, man, she's a monster. We can't have our families join with that monster. What do you mean we? I have to share a bed with that. He's going to say the other word, princess.
All right, and Dragon, I'm sure that this is probably a moment that you are not a fan of. I'm willing to guess.
Okay, here's the thing. So we have a
Okay.
background gag. So I like the staging of it. I'll give it that. I like the staging of. So the idea is, as they're talking over it, we have very much a bridesmaid diarrhea joke, pretty much all the bridesmaids, where we have lady in the dress scrapping pretty much in full view. Now, here's the thing. I think Scott Langford should have picked between the two gross out gags and not done both of them.
I agree.
Either do the vomit or do the bathroom gag. One of the two. And I understand they both somewhat have a story thing, but they both kind of lead to the same juncture with the story point. Like, okay, we need to get cleaned up at the Babbling Brook, or we need to cut the line here. Pick one of the two.
I just think that the Babbling Brook scene, like it's definitely crude for sure. Like it's definitely gross out, no question about it. But Dragon, I think it's a perfect, like, all right, that's it. That's the last straw. Like, I am not going to be a gentleman about this. Like, this is not a human being who is worth, like, if they're going to be this blatant about how disgusting they are.
It's like I can't really pick which is better or more necessary. To both kind of.
Well, I think the Babbling Brook is, like, more disgusting and therefore probably the better one to put in.
Yeah.
Although I think the vomit is probably visually grosser, but the Babbling Brook is probably conceptually grosser, if that makes sense.
No, I hear you. Here's the thing. As much as I hate to say it, I think the Babbling Brook's more necessary to the plot.
Yeah.
You need the last straw. But it doesn't make me like it. Doesn't make me like it, but yeah, it's necessary.
Fair enough.
All right, because you could always basically say, she had to go to the Babbling Brook, and we didn't even need the throw up to get there. Anyway. So point being,
yeah.
All right. So anyways, point being, our guys here, Philip has an idea because we can't just leave her here or else it'd be our heads. The king ain't going to be happy. And then Philip gets an idea. She won't. We focused Tyler Keyes, man. Just as we dolly in on, we kind of focus on Keyes' face and his head during this scene so perfectly as we cut to him. She won't survive the night. It's such a long journey home.
Uh-huh.
Like she won't last it, like let alone like the night. Will she survive the journey home? And then of course we can't leave her here to die. Can we? I love that Timothy again. We're breaking him from kind of the chivalrous or like knight with a coat where it's like he's kind of been he's being worn down through the course of this thing. We're just kind of casually asking, we can't leave her here to die, can we? Then we just have this moment of consideration. Nah, no, we can't do that. So then, we need a more suitable situation for her. Like, who can we give her to? Or better yet, who can we give her back to?
Mm-hmm.
And this is hilarious. We can't do that, can we? I just love this uncharted territory of the Knight's Tale. This uncharted territory of, wait a minute, what if the princess angle went so badly, what if you did just give her back to the bad guy you stole from the first place? It's great. It's a great idea. I love that.
Yeah.
All right, so then what happens, Diggy?
All right, so then the princess comes over and just, oh God, I'm not going to point out the details, Dragon, but she, after the bathroom incident, she needs some pants.
Yep.
That's all I'm going to say.
He's as subtle as Lobo from Man of Tomorrow.
And Dragon, that's what I'm saying. Like, not even the fact that that the bathroom incident happened, but just like how unsubtle she is about it. That's probably the last straw.
She's demanding pants and some eye candy, it seems. Which
oh God. I just love how Philip is just kind of just like, all right, come on, you know you want to.
Let's give him that great head gesture of like,
And
again, I love that she just keeps nagging and nagging, just kind of getting more, just amping it up more. It's like, I'm gonna throw up again in a second now.
God.
So then we just see it weighing on our. I love we're taking the sweet earnest Knight and we're sanding him down to just this great cut to, well, they returned to the dungeon. She's like bound. She's now gagged. She's now a gagged damsel, and I love the apology framing. It was like the way this is framed so perfectly. Just like everything's in full view as we're basically talking to the camera, which is one of the guards. Look, I'm terribly sorry. I hope you're feeling better. Are we good? So then the duo begin to walk back, and this is really
my headcanon is that the guard that they're talking to is like the character that got impaled, and he didn't actually get killed. He just got really injured.
Well, yeah, I mean that's another. I'm pretty sure it's not the same guy. But
no, I don't think so. Yeah. I think that'd be funny though.
No, it would be again. They did like the whole merely a flesh wound thing, but it's only so much time. But yeah, I mean, I gotta tell you, this is the most gallivant part of the whole thing for me here, where like they're walking back, and this is like a spin-off I'd love to see with these two guys. I want to see, the further adventures of Sir Timothy and Philip is based on this ending here. Like, well, we can't return to the kingdom without the princess. Well, I've never been a knight without a kingdom before. There's this king up north, Arthur. Arthur, eh? So we cut briefly to so the wizard returns. I baked cookies, which is hilarious. Baked cookies, and they dismay like, oh no, it's her. Like, oh crap!
Just basically cut to a red letter media. Oh no! Oh no!
Exactly. So then we have this gag where Philip misplaced the horse, and I was just going to run back. Oh, because he's running to look for the horse.
All right. Okay, final thoughts, Dragon. I will admit I didn't quite know what to expect from this one, and I think that the medieval trope has kind of been explored quite a lot with stuff like Gallivant. But I quite like this, Dragon. It was a very, unique take on familiar ground. I really thought that, like I said, the best way to describe it is kind of like Shrek Act 2 notched up to 11. I really thought it was very clever, and of course, the keys, man! Unlock the keys!
Yes. You know what we need, though? We need Tyler Keys to come back and reunite with Joshua Thomas as Nick Cage, so we can say, we need the keys to unlock the cage.
Oh my God. Oh my God, yes. Oh, wow. Oh, that's perfect. All right.
Anyway, so
oh boy,
these are final thoughts from me. Again, it's a short, very much in the Gallivant vein of medieval comedy. Again, kind of meets the nanny to an extent, which I love. I just again, I think again the comedy, of course, a little subjective. Maybe a little too vulgar for my taste, but that is the point, though. It's supposed to be vulgar. Otherwise, she's like, why are they returning the princess? You need to invest in it.
Right,
You need to
right.
buy it. Which again,
There has to be a
it gets you
breaking
there.
point.
There's breaking points. So yeah, they definitely get you there. The thing has great performances. I think the film looks great. Again, we already talked about the money shots. It's a very it's a really solid concept. I felt kind of a nice kind of subversive concept again with the whole reverse Shrek Act 2 thing. Works well, and again, I'm not sure if it. Again, I'm not sure if less is more would have worked for this. So again, them going full tilt with it, I guess, really
Uh-huh.
worked in its favor. Because again, if we do less is more, you don't buy kind of the crescendo, and we get the crescendo, and again, it's quite good. I think Langford should be proud of this.
All right. Okay, Dragon, take us out.
All right, folks, that does it for now. Until the next exciting reach, hopefully soon, into the Just Giggle It grab bag.
Juice!
Huzzah!